Welcome back to the Eye in the Sky. And for those of you out there who are enjoying this content, enjoy digging into the film, learning about players, learning about the game of football, please like and subscribe because it greatly helps this channel. Now, what kind of a Saturday did Sam Howell have against the Texans? Well, when you take a look at the numbers, he was 11 of 13 for 105 yards, 0 passing touchdowns, but 0 interceptions, and added 1 rushing touchdown. I think what's even more impressive are just the drives that he put together, right? One, a 12-play drive for 40 yards, but it ended in a field goal. And then another 14-play, 94-yard drive that ended in a touchdown. Now, for a veteran quarterback, a guy who's vying for a starting role somewhere in the NFL, you would expect that to be out there against the 2s and the 3s. You want him to have command of the situation, which I think is exactly what we saw. However, there were a couple of throws in particular that I think bodes very well for Sam Howell in this offense. So let's dive into the film, take a look, and I'll explain to you exactly why I like Sam Howell's future. Hopefully we'll never need to get to him because of J.J. McCarthy, but if we have to, because we're Viking fans, this backup might be just fine. Now, this first pass by Howell, I mean, this is what you expect out of a veteran right here. You're getting a pretty simple look by the Texans. He's going to put his tight end in motion, and we'll pause it for a second, but you have to understand and see what's Howell seeing before the snap, right? It's pretty straightforward. Middle open, meaning you have 2 safeties deep. No one's in the middle of the field. This corner is off, so odds are you're getting a cover 8 or quarters over here on this side, maybe a cover 2 up on top. Very, very straightforward. Now, he knows the route that he's going to get up top is a simple flat and curl. All that means is this tight end is going to work his way to the flat, and then this receiver is going to press upfield and hitch. And the key is just which guy this one covers. Right? If this guy buzzes through and goes to the flat, then the curl is going to be open because it'll curl up before he can hit this safety. The safety is just tennis bouncing, waiting to see what this wide receiver does. The key here, though, is watch when Sam Howell, he's starting to throw this football as soon as this defender clears the zone and the receiver is curling up. Now, we'd like to see this route maybe a yard or 2 deeper, just because when you come back for the football, it might put you back behind the chains, but it's the anticipation. This is football 101. Curl, flat, against cover 8, easy catch, easy throw, hits it right on the money. And so, yeah, the rhythm, that's what you want out of a veteran quarterback. This should be a pretty easy game thus far. So next up is Howell's first third down of the day. It's about 3rd and 8.5, 3rd and 9. Completely different look by the Texans defense. We saw a play earlier, middle open, very basic. Here, it's a little bit different. They've been blitzing a little bit on 3rd down, and what's showing right here is you have a linebacker stepped up mugging in the A-gap, and then you have what you call a middle close defense, meaning the middle of this defense, it has a body, so you may want to stay away from it. Well, what he notices on the outside is this. It's the one-on-ones, right? It's a corner rolled up on this receiver, and then you have a nickel on the slot. So, all that being said, this ball gets snapped. Again, great protection that this offensive line gave their quarterbacks, I think, all day. But you're getting a 5-man rush. And first of all, you're still maintaining this pocket. I talked about it with J.J. McCarthy, but this gives Howell some time. What does Howell see right now? Well, when you look downfield, what do you see? You see that this cornerback up top has turned his back and is running with the receiver. So he knows out here that flat is going to be open, that this go route up top will clear the outside zone. That gives his underneath receiver, who right here is already in a break, room to the outside. He has to work that outside shoulder and then create separation right at the sticks. This has to happen at the first down marker. This is 3rd down. This is why you have to depend on your receivers too. But look at Howell. He's set up. He's just starting to throw now, and this receiver is just in his break. You have another receiver right where he's throwing the football. but the timing of it, beautifully thrown. Now, the other part is as we go back, take a look at where this ball is being thrown from. Howell's on the bottom hash mark, and this throw is happening 5, 10, 15, 17 yards downfield, but on the opposite side. So the ability to hit a timing route all the way across the field on an out route and getting it in stride is something that we saw out of Sam Darnold early last year, which gave us hope that he can operate in this offense. So these types of plays, which are just so important to what we do, because you're getting Addison one-on-one opposite of Justin Jefferson. They're rolling the safeties, they're rolling things that way. You're going to get one-on-one somewhere. Sam Howell can throw this football and take advantage of it. So that throw right there meant so much to me in how Howell can fit, because in Washington, it was a lot of short underneath type routes. There were not a lot of routes where he was forced to throw this football from one hash mark on an out 15, 20 yards downfield. He can do it. We've seen it. I love that about Howell. Makes me feel so much better going into the season that he will be our primary backup. All right, so we're getting closer to the red zone, maybe the deep red zone, about the 24, 25-yard line. And as we take a look at what Howell's seeing pre-snap, it's completely different than what he saw a few plays earlier with the third down. What are we seeing up top? Well, we're seeing middle open again. And again, if you're watching at home on TV, it's kind of the first thing you can look for. When you see a middle open, you're less likely to get a blitz, more likely to get a passing type defense, if you will. So gives you a little bit of insight into what the defense is trying to do. The other key here is this, is where are the corners? This corner right here is lining up about 8 yards off and inside, but this corner down here is rolled up. This looks like a cloud. Normally, you're not going to be able to just line up and show it like this on a normal Sunday, but this is the preseason, so this is what they do. Howell already knows what he wants to do with this football, because the route he's getting up top is a form of a smash 7, meaning you get this receiver to get up the field, press the corner, and then curl up. Meanwhile, this receiver is going to run a deep 7 route. Howell knows. Keep an eye on this corner right here, because if he continues to sink, which he does, then you're going to get cover 8. You're going to double team the 7 route, and then the inside defender has to get his way out to the flat. So this is the soft spot. If you're getting cover 2, then this corner will be mid-pointing somewhere in here, and you might be able to put that football over the top. But again, the out is still going to be there because that corner has to play that deep to short. So Howell knows what he's getting and where he has to go to, but the decision to throw this football so quickly, all right, this receiver could be a little bit deeper, but it's the right decision because the ball is caught with the defender 2 yards away, meaning this receiver should be able to shake one tackler and get this first down. So it's kind of disappointing that we didn't, but this ball goes exactly where it was supposed to go, and it goes quickly. So again, Howell has that experience. 621 pass attempts two years ago. He learned something, and it's carrying over. All right, next play, offense backed up about the 10-yard line. Again, Sam Howell, his experience here is just taking over. Let's look again, pre-snap. What are we getting? This, again, looks like middle open, right? And then some type of umbrella. It's the same defense you saw a snap ago. This cornerback rolled up on the backside, probably a cloud, meaning a cover 2 look over here, and then quarters up on top. So Howell sends a receiver in motion. The receiver gets across the formation, and at the snap, what do you see? You see this cornerback start to drop off, meaning if you get 2 receivers to that side, they're going to play quarters. Looks like they stayed quarters up on top. Howell knows exactly what he's going to get. And the route is pretty simple. It's, again, the same concept that we just saw a play ago. You're going to get one guy on an up and then a corner route, and then the underneath on a flat. So he's working himself, and all he's got to do is see what this guy's doing, right? But Howell already sees this corner open, and watch what the corner's next few steps are. He's continuing to deepen. This ball is already out. That is important, meaning you're hitting this receiver with the football before the corner can rally, so he has a chance to do what? To catch and then turn up. Now, Felton's got to do a little better job turning the corner here. I know he slips, but you got to put a foot in the dirt, and then that's a first down, exactly what you need. So his anticipation of what the defense is giving him is working wonders for him. It's experience. That's why you love it. So as we carry on, you're starting to get a feel for what Howell's seeing and how he knows what he's going to get, and really how he's picking it apart. And that's exactly what you expect out of a veteran. The next play, again, pre-snap, what are we seeing? Well, we're seeing middle open, right? The corners are off on both sides. Probably some form of cover 8, because that's what you've been seeing all day. Now, this is going to be a 3-out strong type of a route, meaning you have 3 receivers to one side of the field, and they're going to run a pretty basic NFL level 3-man route, meaning you're going to get an up with a 7, right? And then you'll get a flat route. And then this guy is going to get up the field, but then curl. So basically you have a high, a medium, and then a flat. And as this play develops, you're going to see the box of defenders. Okay. These 4 defenders. This guy here, first out. This guy back here, first up on the outside. This guy over here, first up on the inside. So these 4 have these 3. Now, the guy with the tough job is the linebacker right here, because as number 3 goes to the flat, he has to continue to widen all the way out to the numbers right here where this receiver is. You see Howell looking? Howell's looking right at this linebacker. And once he sees him square up, he knows right there, I can get this football in. Look at this window. This window right here is very, very tight. And he's able to get this football in as this linebacker is falling in. I mean, they're trying to surround this. This linebacker's trying to fall in. This guy's is squeezing it from the top, and then eventually the flat defender will fall back in. But this ball is already in the air, and the receiver is just barely into his break, gets that thing just outside the outreach of the linebacker. So that's a pretty good cold-blooded throw, but he knows what coverage he's getting, knows where the hole is going to be, and he's getting that football exactly where it needs to go. This play is a perfect example of why offenses shift in motion. I mean, wouldn't it just be easier to line up and run what you're going to run? Offenses are constantly shifting and moving. Why? Because defenses oftentimes tip their hat. When you start this play and you look at this play, it looks pretty similar to what we've seen already. You got a cornerback rolled up, but you have a middle open with the 2 safeties. This corner right here is off the football. So it kind of looks like a little bit of a cloud going on over here. And this a cover 2 side over here, cover 8 side over here. Well, let's move a guy and see what happens and see what we can find out. So as this wide receiver motions over and you're really getting into a slot formation, you have a couple receivers over here and 2 over here, you really see what Sam Darnold gets to see, and that's what happens. What's the adjustment that the Texans make to this motion? And the adjustment is this receiver comes across, they don't run anyone with him. All they do is bump out and bump over these linebackers. That tells him something is up, right? That tells him as that receiver goes across, they're just bumping. Now look how far out that linebacker goes. So as this ball snapped, you've got a linebacker standing all the way out here. If this is some type of zone, he's going to still be in here because he can still work to number 2, right? Something's up. So again, pretty simple concept as far as routes go. When you have a short flat route, and then you're going to have a deeper 7 type route. Now, the receiver has a bit of a job here in that he has to be head up on the corner, but work his way outside. But look at Darnold. Again, I can't say it enough. Another good pocket. This is a blitz. Another blitz by the Texans, a man-to-man blitz, no less. And the protection is holding up beautifully. I hope this continues. But you see the open area right here, right on top. Howell knows where he's going with it. Releases the ball right now because he sees the positioning. Puts it right where it needs to go. Easy throw and catch. Accurate. But again, another long throw. This is a ball coming from this hash mark, right? And pardon for all the things popping up, but it's going from this hash mark 15, 20 yards down the field all the way on the opposite sideline. These are the long throws that we didn't see Howell make when he was with the Commanders, but he can make because he's got the experience. You saw and we heard about Howell struggling earlier in camp. These aren't the reads and throws that he was making last year or the year before. This is all new to him, but because of his experience, I had faith that he would start to look the part. Well, he absolutely looks the part thus far. And finally, Howell's last pass attempt that we're going to show, again, the Texans are making things easy on him. And again, Howell's equipped to be able to see what the Texans are trying to do and then take it apart. What do we see that's different? Well, find the safety. Where is he? He's right in the middle of the field. So middle close, meaning like a 3 deep, could be man-to-man. There's a lot of different things that you could get. Corners are both playing off. And for the quarterback, you just have to understand where the voids are in the coverage. Not exactly what coverage you're going to get, but Howell knows right now that he has an opportunity that he's going to be getting one-on-ones out here on the outside. So once this ball is snapped and we're getting to the top of our drop, what are we seeing? Howell knows already what he's got, and it's mainly because of this guy right here. He's turned inside in a position like in 3 deep to midpoint, both of these vertical routes. The guy that's literally screwed up is the guy that's getting himself turned around, him right here. Because there has to be some type of flat defender, and it's not the cornerback. You look down here, it's a little bit better. You have a linebacker sitting here. If anything leaks out into the flat, but then the free safety has this go route and this corner's on top here. But if you look at Howell, he's getting ready to throw this football because he knows what is going to be coming open. And that's exactly here, the out, right? This cornerback has opened his hips, hasn't squared up because he's saying if the inside receiver continues to go vertical, then I have to squeeze him. There's no way this safety here is going to get all the way over. So he's saying, hey, I got to cover this vertical route. You right here, the slot player, you're messed up. Somebody has to get to the flat. Nobody does. Howell lets this thing go. Again, another 20-some yard-ish type throw delivered on a rope, but the anticipation before the defense can react. I just loved how he recognized what he saw, knew exactly where to go with the football. The ball was out quickly and on target. So another great throw and great down by Sam Howell. So, overall, J.J. McCarthy's a starter. Our season's based upon his development. But again, we're Viking fans. We've seen a lot of backup quarterbacks in our day. And the more I see of Howell, the more I see him progress. Remember, he came from an offense that was 3-step, quick throw, underneath, slant routes, attack the middle of the field. And he's evolving into this Kevin O'Connell style, which is down the field, deep combo routes, having to read the corners and the safeties and know exactly how they're going to play it. And he's out there executing it. So it gives me a lot of hope that Howell will continue to improve. And if at some point he's called upon to start a couple of games, I feel really good about the Vikings' future.